was recently revealed, and it seems to be taking the internet by storm with headlines like, oh, this is the only credit card you'll ever need, or this is the best cashback credit card in existence. I've seen multiple YouTube videos about this topic, and I'm sure that you have too at this point. And at the surface level, it seems to be the best cashback credit card that money can buy. Or is it? The way the website is laid out reminded me a lot of the Apple Card, which I just recently applied for back in 2023. Today, I wanted to make a comparison between these two cards, the Robinhood Gold Card and the Apple Card, because I do think that there are some striking similarities, but also some stark differences between these cards. Probably the most obvious is that, yes, do I even need to say it, but these cards are both made out of pure titanium. So the Apple Card is 15 grams of titanium and the Robinhood Gold Card is 17 grams. So the Robinhood Card is slightly heavier, but I wanted to mention this right away in the video because really it's probably the most useless point. I mean, it's a credit card. I've personally never cared much about the material of the card. Sure, it's cool at first, like the actual card does have some substantial weight to it and it feels expensive, but in the end, ultimately, I just don't care because I primarily use Apple Pay with my cards anyway, so I'm not even taking them out of my wallet. But you can sleep easy tonight knowing that the waiter who took your card at the restaurant last night must think you've got some big bucks because you have a heavy card. Hopefully that was reflected in your tip. The other striking comparison between these cards is their approach to card numbers. If you've ever noticed or looked at an Apple Card, you'll notice a lack of any sort of numbers to enter. This is because the card number is exclusively virtual, meaning that you will not find the card number written on the card itself, but rather you will find it securely in the Apple Wallet app on your iPhone. Likewise, you will not find any personal information on the Robinhood Gold Card except your name, as all of the card numbers will be virtual as well. I was reading some info about the Robinhood Gold Card and it mentions the rewards tab in the Robinhood credit card mobile app, meaning that I assume if you apply for this credit card, once it's actually available, you will need to download a new app on your phone besides just the regular Robinhood app, because I mean, why not? I'm sure you don't already have enough apps on your phone. I generally like and actually prefer having a virtual card number compared to something written on the card. For one, it's much more secure not to have card numbers written on the card. You can't just snap a picture of the card and have access to enter it on any website. To use a card in a fraudulent way, somebody would actually have to take and swipe the card, which I feel like limits the times where there might be fraudulent activity. The only time that I actually give my card to someone and I don't see what they're doing is probably like a waiter, like I had mentioned before. Otherwise, I am the one using the card and I'm the one swiping the card pretty much at all times. And then secondly, if you do find fraudulent activity using your card, you can request a new number with a few presses of a button in the Apple Wallet app. And I assume it will be just as easy to get a new card number in the Robinhood credit card app as well when that app is released, with hopefully just a few clicks. With a traditional card, if you request a new number, you have to get a whole new card and your current card will be deactivated, and then you'll have to wait around for a new one to arrive in the mail and then activate that. If this is your only credit card, you might have to go a few days without being able to use it, which for somebody like me who uses a credit card to pay for almost everything every single day, this would be a huge disadvantage in my book. Just about the only disadvantage of the virtual credit card number is that it does tie the credit card very closely to your phone. So if you're older or somebody who doesn't always carry your phone around with you, you may want to think twice about these cards because they might not be worth it for you. For me though, I think it's a great feature and I love the extra security. I could even show my credit card in a YouTube video without fear that that somebody would just steal my identity. So the biggest similarities are the titanium material and then the virtual card numbers, but that is where they mainly end. Now I want to cover some of the differences between these cards. The first difference, and probably the biggest difference, the most obvious one, is the rewards. I'll just get to the point. The Robinhood Gold Card has the better of the rewards, like by far. The Robinhood Gold Card has very simple to understand rewards, that being that you get 3% cash back. But on what? On everything. Yeah, you heard that right. Literally everything. In terms of credit card cash back, 3% is kind of unheard of on every single purchase. 2% is basically almost everywhere, as I will mention with the Apple Card in a minute, but there is no doubt that the Robinhood Gold Card will be the king of cash back. There's no getting around that fact. Now, let's compare this to the Apple Card rewards. The Apple Card has slightly more complicated rewards in comparison. So the Apple Card is still a cash back credit card, and when you use Apple Pay on this credit card, you only receive 2% cash back as opposed to 3% cash back that you get for everything with the Robinhood Gold Card. When you do not use Apple Pay, so the instances where you need to give your credit card to a server in a restaurant, or you're at a store that just does not accept Apple Pay, Walmart is a big one, you will only get 1% cash back with the Apple Card. And then finally, for rewards with the Apple Card, there are a few places where you can use the Apple Card and get 3% total cash back. If you buy Apple products or Apple subscriptions, you'll receive the 3% cash back. And there are also a few partners where this is honored as well. Some of the 3% cash back stores using the Apple Card are like Nike, Uber, Panera, Walgreens, to name a few. I don't see this as much of a huge benefit because, I mean, how often are you really shopping at just these stores I mentioned? Yes, this is a nice bonus, I guess, but comparing 5 stores where you could earn that 3% cash back compared to literally every store, every website, every scenario with the Robinhood Cash Card, yeah, the Apple Card can seem a little bit underwhelming in comparison. Now to the next difference, I wanted to talk about fees. The Apple Card does not have any fees associated with it. It does not have a foreign transaction fee. It does not have an annual fee. It doesn't have any sort of subscription, anything. The Apple Card remains a credit card free of any sort of fees, which is a great thing. You will not be surprised with a random fee hitting your account at the end of the year because they simply do not exist. Right on their website, it tells you no fees ever. I mean, that's awesome, right? Nothing to complain about here. The Robinhood Gold Card, however, is a little bit different. So after all, they need to make their money back in some areas by offering that 3% cash back. So fees is one of them. The Robinhood Card has different types of fees for different things. So the biggest and most obvious fee is that you need to pay for the Robinhood Gold subscription. While this card is gold colored titanium, it's named, after all, after the Robinhood Gold subscription service that they offer, and this is required to obtain this card. So now you're probably wondering how much this subscription service is and what exactly it does. So currently this service is priced at $5 per month, which equals $60 per year. Granted, if you spend $2,000 a year using this card, it will earn you that $60 in cash back and theoretically pay for the entire service, but this is still a fee associated with the card no matter how you look at it. Robinhood claims no annual fee with this card, and while that's technically true, as in at the end of every 12 months you will not be charged for simply using this card, it does have a monthly fee associated with it, and that is the Robinhood Gold subscription. So what are all the other perks of the Robinhood Gold service? Well, there are many, but that is a topic for another video, so stay tuned for that one by hitting the subscribe button. There are also a couple of extra fees on this card. Like, it technically does have a replacement card fee of $40, and it also has late fees. So the first late payment is $29 for the first instance, and then $40 for the second instance in a subsequent 6 months. This would be on top of the interest that accumulates by not paying your balance in full. So in short, always pay your card off and try not to lose it to avoid the lost card fee. So far, I can honestly say I've actually never lost a card, but try not to lose the Robinhood card because apparently titanium is expensive to replace. Because I did mention it, I also want to touch on interest quick. Basically, I always overlook credit card interest rates because they're all trash. Each and every one of them, they're trash. Do not fall into the scam that is credit card debt. There is truly nothing else like it in America, and if you fall into this trap, you may be setting yourself up for failure for a very long time. Please do not allow yourself to have credit card debt. If you have this, prioritize your ability to pay this off as soon as possible. Interest rates range from 20 to 30% APY on both the Apple Card and the Robinhood Gold Card, so depending on a bunch of factors that I don't even care about, because 20% is still awful and you should always pay these off. 3% cashback is great, 30% interest is awful. Now, I think the last point that I think is worth mentioning is overall accessibility and how easy the card is to use. Now, the Robinhood Gold Card is not quite out yet. The only information that I have is the information that Robinhood has provided to us directly, as no one actually has this card in their own hands yet. But when this card does finally arrive, I doubt that it will be as accessible as the Apple Card has been. I actually made an entire video about the functionality of the Apple Card and how I think it's the most accessible credit card ever made. Like from top to bottom, the ease of use in the Apple Wallet app and the way that it integrates into the Apple operating system can be truly magical. And if you do ever fall into credit card debt, the Apple Wallet app will tell you exactly how much interest you are paying. This is something that I do not foresee happening with the Robinhood credit card app, as they do need interest payments at the end of the day so they could ultimately make money on this card. Because how do you think credit card companies make most of their money? Well, 3 words: credit card interest. Maybe when this card releases it will surprise me, but I doubt it. The downside of the Apple Card is that it's only available to iOS and Apple users. No Apple device? Well, no Apple Card for you. What if you have an Android phone? Then it's clear that the Robinhood Gold Card is the winner. What if you have an iPhone and do not have Robinhood and do not want to download Robinhood? Then the Apple Card may be the winner. Or it may be a completely different credit card altogether that I didn't mention in this video, because there are a heck of a lot more credit cards than just the 2 that I am comparing in this video. The choice in the end is ultimately what fits you best and what different perks you value. So will I be getting the Robinhood Gold Card? While I am a Robinhood Gold member, I'm going to wait until the card is officially out into the wild and then make my decision. It's hard to get a feel for how this credit card will function until it's actually in people's hands. Until then, I am perfectly content with my Discover card, my Citi Custom Cash card, and then finally my Apple Card. The Robinhood Gold Card has certainly piqued my interest, however, as I am a sucker for a good cashback credit card. So I will definitely be keeping my eye on this one, and I will update everybody here in the future on my channel if I do decide to take the plunge and get this card. I want to know, what do you think of the Robinhood Gold Card? Do you think you'll be getting it sometime in the future after its release? Do you have an Apple Card? Let me know down below in the comments, and while you're down there, please consider checking out some of my other personal finance related content, and don't forget to subscribe so you can help my small channel grow more and more. I appreciate each and every one of you watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one, and I hope your day is pleasant as you are.